All right, Matt the Mortgage Guy here. I'm excited about today's video. And the reason I'm excited about today's video is because we're going to talk about the pros and cons of a cash out refi. A video that I did 3.5 years ago when I was just out there putting videos on YouTube to help educate people on a mortgage. I wasn't trying to hack the YouTube algorithm. I didn't care how many people watched it, but for whatever reason, this video really resonated with people. It's got near 100,000 views now. I've got tons of positive feedback on that video. So obviously it helped people. It was important to people. So here we are, 3.5 years later. Pros and cons of a cash out refi. Revamped, revisited, improved, 2.0, whatever you want to call it. I've got 3.5 more years of experience, 3.5 years of serving thousands of clients with cash out refinances, regular rate and term refinances, purchases, all that stuff. So hopefully I can give some insight based on all the experience that I've accumulated over the last 3.5 years and make this video even better. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into it. If you like straightforward real estate, mortgage, and investing advice, consider subscribing to the channel. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. I want this video to surpass that last video, and I'm going to give it till the end of the year to pass up that last video that got 100,000 views. So with your help, I should be able to do that. So pros and cons of a cash out refinance. Cash out refinance in 2021 is as popular as ever, as you can imagine, because people have tons of equity and rates are really low. So that leads us into our first pro. You can get a lower rate. And even though a cash out refinance has a slightly higher rate than just doing a rate and term, which means paying off your old one, no cash out, if that slightly higher rate is still lower than your current rate, you're in good shape. Meaning you can take out $40,000, $50,000, pay off credit card debt, remodel the house, whatever it is. Students, college education for your kid, whatever the heck it is. But it only makes sense, and it's only a pro if you're lowering your rate, in my opinion. If you're taking a 3% interest rate and you're doing a cash out refinance into a 4.5% to pay off $20,000 in credit card debt, that lands on the con side, the higher interest rate. Because what happens is if somebody calls me, they say, hey Matt, I owe $273 on my mortgage, but it's worth $500,000. I've got equity I could pull out. I've got $19,000 in credit card debt I want to pay off. Well, if you're going to take a low mortgage rate and refinance it into a higher rate, and this is going to, be evergreen content. So maybe in the future when rates are higher, it's going to be like this, where you've got a 3% from the year 2020 or 2021, and in 2024, a cash out is 4.5%. That's something you would not do because you're going to pay not just the 4.5% on the credit card debt you're paying off, but on that whole 273 that you paid off. And that's where I tell people, don't pay an extra 1.5%, go from 3 to 4.5 on that whole mortgage balance of $273,000, because rough math, that's $4,000 a year in interest that you're paying. You're paying over $300 a month in interest extra on that mortgage balance to capture that $19,000 or whatever you need for paying off that credit card debt. And that's another point that I don't know if I made it in the last video, but I'll make it in this video. If you're taking out a small sum of money in a cash out refinance, I usually advise don't do a cash out refinance. $8,000 to pay off credit card debt, $11,000 for a roof, $14,000 for whatever it is, plastic surgery. You probably would be better off doing what's called a rate and term, no cash out, and get the better interest rate on your mortgage and then find alternative financing, Home Depot credit card or something else to fund whatever that is that you're trying to fund, because you don't pay an extra quarter on the whole $300,000 or the whole $400,000 when only $10,000 of it is needed for that project. Hopefully that makes sense. So if you're able to lower your rate and you're going from 3.75 to 3.25, and you're taking cash out, and you're doing something constructive with the money, that's a pro. If you're raising your rate, and by raising, let's clarify that. If you're at a 3.125 and you can do a cash out to 3.25, but you're paying off $44,000 in credit card debt that's at 18%, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with taking out $10,000 to pay off a high interest debt and raising the rate from 3% to 4% on $400,000, because then you're paying that extra percent on all that money. Hopefully that makes sense. And realize when I talk about rates, I'm just throwing random rates out there. This video is going to be out there for eternity. So in 2027, rates might be 7.25. Who knows? All right. Pro number 2 is debt consolidation. I've seen people use this beautifully. And they've got a $600,000 house. They only owe $230,000 on it. And for whatever reason, they did some home remodel. They sent a kid to college. They racked up credit card debt for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. Now, if they've got $37,000 in credit card debt and they're paying 18% interest, and just month after month, $700, $800, and they just can't get this balance to come down, you do a cash out refinance and do debt consolidation and pay all that stuff off. If you go from, like we talked about, 3.75 to 3%, you might pull $40,000 out and barely see a change to your payment. The really smart thing would be to realize you've been paying $500, $600, $700 a month towards this debt consolidation. Maybe we run some figures and we show you pay off all that debt. Your new mortgage is $150 more, but you're used to paying $500, $600 more. What if you applied that to the new mortgage, paid off all your debt, and then by paying those extra payments you were paying towards credit cards, towards your mortgage, now you're paid off in 21 years or 19 years, something like that. That's cool. Okay, this is the con of that exact scenario. You pay off the credit card debt and you repeat the cycle. You reload it back on. That is definitely a con, because let's be honest, us as Americans, we are consumers. And to be, I want to say this nicely. I don't know. Some people would say, you're contributing by going out there and spending. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go out there and spend recklessly on random things. But if you pay off that same $37,000 in credit card debt, and then 18 months later, you've got $46,000, because all of a sudden, you've got all this room on credit card to go ham. You wouldn't want to do that. So that's a con, is you're basically exposed. And, human beings. Okay, use equity for investment. This, I put it on the pro side because I've seen really cool stuff. I've seen taking out, $60,000 when you owe $300 and your house is worth $800. It's just that $500,000 is just sitting there. Some people will call it debt equity. Some people who are a little bit more or less risk averse and trying to put their money to work for them would go crazy seeing all that money. Other people who are very conservative feel really uneasy taking it out. So again, it's personal preference, but if you do it in the right way, let's say you take $80,000 out and you owe $300. Now you owe $380. The house is worth $800. You're still 50% loan to value or less. You've got a comfortable fixed rate mortgage that you can afford. It's not stretching you. And you take that $80,000 and you start the business you've always wanted to start. What if that business generates $100,000 a year? That could be a humongous pro, right? And I've seen it. It works. Or you take that $80,000 and you invest it in another property. You got a great screaming deal on a property that your cousin Bobby Joe is selling, and you're going to get a great deal, and the thing's going to kick off $400 or $500 a month in cash flow as an investment property. And this $80,000 is that down payment for that. That could be a pro. The con to that exact scenario is over leveraging yourself equals more risk. And so I've seen this as well, and I'm not going to sugarcoat things. You've got a property that's worth $400,000 and you owe $200. You say, Matt, I want to pull out the max. Whatever I can go to max, which is 80% if you live in the house. So you pull all that cash out, you up your loan amount to $320, and today's rates and today's fixed rate mortgage, it's hard really to get yourself in trouble, but you could if you had a comfortable payment at what you owed before. Now you pull it up to $320, and now your mortgage payment went up by $500 or $600. The investment went bad, and now you've got a higher mortgage payment, and it's a struggle. 2020 proved that there's plenty of surprises in store for all of us all the time. Maybe you lose your job or something, and now that $2,400 or $2,500 mortgage payment is really a stretch, and you get yourself in trouble where you might not have been in trouble had it been $1,900 like it was before. All right, in closing, there are definitely pros and cons. The best advice I can give you is talk to a mortgage professional that cares about you, walk through your scenarios, talk through your scenarios, find out what the best game plan is. And when you have a clear game plan in mind, then it's okay, let's do this. Maybe we don't take out this much cash, maybe we take out this much. Maybe we just do a non-cash out, a rate and term refinance. Or maybe we do the cash out and, just put the game plan in place and be careful with, the rate. You don't want to be paying extra interest on the whole mortgage. So any questions at all, please feel free to reach out, Matt, M-A-T-T, at mattthemortgageguy.com. I'm happy to help. I'm only licensed in California. So if you're outside of California, go to my website, mattthemortgageguy.com, fill out a form. I'll refer you to a great broker in whatever state you're in. Thanks for watching.